Alright, baby, let's ride. So here I am, riding home. Just got back from visiting the Honda flagship store, as you have seen in my previous video. And now I know in my previous video I said that I'll be making my decision with regards to what bike I'll be getting next. I'll be making my decision by the end of the year, assuming that I had the money for it, of course. If not, then it's going to be sometime early next year. But man, suppose I'm just too excited. Yeah, I just can't help but making the comparison already, making or thinking of the two bikes, weighing my options. Yeah. So here goes. You have the Kawasaki Vulcan S on one side and the Honda Rebel 500 on the other side. Both bikes are Japanese bikes. One is Kawasaki, the other one is Honda. Both are reputable companies. They have good reputation for building and producing good bikes, reliable bikes, such. Price-wise though, the Rebel 500 I think gets the point. I mean, 370,000 pesos compared to the Vulcan S's price tag of 395,000 pesos. The Rebel 500 kinda wins that one. I mean, cheaper is always good, particularly when you consider that basically quality-wise, more or less the same. Of course, the Vulcan S has the higher displacement, 650cc, compared to the 470 to 475cc displacement of the Rebel 500. So, in terms of displacement, the Vulcan S wins. But, yeah, still, money-wise, I mean, given my money situation, I find the Rebel 500 more attractive in terms of price. Of course, if you factor in displacement, if say you divide the price tag by the displacement, I think the Vulcan S would be cheaper in terms of pesos per cc, I think. But overall, in terms of as a package, the Rebel 500 is kinda cheaper, so it's more attractive at the moment, at least. Now, both bikes are cruiser motorcycles, albeit they have totally different stylings. The Vulcan S is more of a power cruiser with classic looks, whereas the Rebel 500 is a bobber style cruiser. So depending on your preference, you can go either way. At the moment, I kinda prefer the classic cruiser looks of the Vulcan S. So point goes to the Vulcan S on that one. Now in terms of color, as I had mentioned in my previous video, that's one of my big complaints about, well, both bikes really. I mean, the Vulcan S only comes in matte black, whereas the Rebel 500 only comes in gray, gunmetal gray, I think what they call it, but gray tank with black frame. So yeah, too bad. I mean, I kinda wanted more options in terms of colors available, I mean. So that's a problem with both bikes, but in terms of just looking at what's available, I kinda prefer the looks of the Rebel 500 in terms of color. Yeah. I mean, there's a good contrast between the gray and the black. So, yeah, point goes to the Rebel 500 on that one. I mean, it's, at least for me at least, it looks easier on the eyes when there's some contrast in terms of the coloring of the bike. Now, seat height goes to the Rebel 500. I've mentioned that already before in the previous video. I have sat on the Vulcan S, I have sat on the Rebel 500. Now, while my feet were both flat on the ground for both bikes, I've found that my feet were more firmly planted on the ground or on the floor when I was sitting on the Rebel 500. I was more secure. I felt more secure and relaxed when I was sitting on the Rebel 500. Now, seat height is very important to me. I mean, if you consider my height, if you consider my length, the length of my legs, yeah, I have short legs. I admit that. Yeah, I have short legs, particularly considering my height. So seat height is very important to me, and that what's that's what make the Rebel 500 very attractive to me at the moment. In terms of brakes, both bikes have ABS, both bikes have disc brakes, both front and rear. Now, when you think of cruiser motorcycles, almost always you think about customizability, you think about customizing the bikes. Now, this is where I'm afraid the Vulcan S loses out. Now, sure, you can customize the bike, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, but to me at least, when I look at the Vulcan S, I see it as a finished bike already. I don't feel any urge to change anything on it. Now, I might add a radiator guard just to protect the radiator, an engine guard or a crash guard or whatever. But that's about it. I don't feel any urge to change anything else on the bike. It looks already perfect to me. It looks finished. It looks good and great. Now the Rebel 500, it looks good, looks great, but it's a much more basic bike as compared to the Vulcan S. There just screams, customize me. Yeah, customize me, change me, make me your own. At least that's how it appears to me. It just screams to want to be customized. And at the moment, I'm kind of feeling the same. I'm feeling rather individualistic at the moment. I feel like I should customize my bike if I have a cruiser bike. So, yeah, at the moment, that's how I'm feeling. So, the point goes to the Rebel 500 on this one. Now, speed, although the Rebel 500 has a smaller displacement, it's a lighter bike. So from the reviews that I've seen, both bikes can basically reach up to the same top speed. But given that the Vulcan S has a higher displacement, I think in terms of speed, in terms of maintaining speed, in terms of attaining higher speeds and still be stable and secure, I think I'll give this one to the Vulcan S. Now there might be people, I'm sure there are people out there that will disagree with me, but I'm just going with my feelings here. I'm no expert on the matter. I have not test road ridden any of these two bikes. I'm just going by the feeling in terms of how they would perform in terms of high speed, in terms of speed, maintaining speed, attaining top speed and all that. So I'll give it to the Vulcan S. As I mentioned, don't crucify me on that one. I'm sure some people out there will feel indignant about me giving the Vulcan S the speed point here, but Like I said, I'm no expert in the matter. This is not an official review of the two bikes. I'm just basically mulling things over, comparing the two bikes in my head, and going by what I remember from the reviews. Maneuverability, the two bikes are quite maneuverable. I'm sure the companies have done their research. They made good designs as far as I'm concerned. But when I sat on the two bikes, I felt more secure with the Rebel 500 in terms of me being able to handle it. When I sat on the Vulcan S, I felt like just cruising and going at straight line or just meandering curves. Whereas when I was on the Rebel 500, I felt like I'll be able to weave through traffic with no problems whatsoever, or with little problems whatsoever, particularly when compared to the Vulcan S. So maneuverability, this one goes to the Rebel 500 in my opinion, at least as far as I'm concerned. Now, you'll remember when I talked about my Z250 SL, one of my complaints about it is that it didn't have a gear indicator. I've so gotten used to the convenience of having a gear indicator, all thanks to my RS150. Yeah, it has a gear indicator, and I don't have to count gears or remember what gear I'm on. All I need to do is just look at the instrument panel, and there it is, gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, and so on. The same goes for my Z1000R. The Vulcan S has one, at least the current model of the Vulcan S has a gear indicator. Sadly, the Rebel 500 does not, so this one goes to the Vulcan S. Availability of parts. Both companies here in the Philippines have good reputations. They have factories here, or at least warehouses here. They've been based here in the Philippines for quite a long time already. Both bikes are in the two companies' official lineup. So availability of parts, I don't think I'll have any problems whatsoever, or at least very little problems when it comes to the availability of parts for both bikes. The same goes for maintenance and such. I've read bike reviews and for both bikes. Now, not extensively though, but I've seen reviews of both bikes, and the two bikes seems to have good reviews. So yeah. So all in all, if you total the points that I've talked about, the Vulcan S gets 9 points, whereas the Rebel 500 gets 10 points. So as I've already mentioned in my previous video, it's gonna be a close race between the two bikes in terms of making my choice. At the moment, the Rebel 500 has a slight advantage. I mean, 1 point is still 1 point. Yeah. Again, this is just my personal review or opinion on the matter. So, take what you will from it. I mean, I'm just making the comparison just for my benefit so that I can make my decision by the end of the year. So, yeah. So, that's it for now. Until next time, keep on riding on, baby.